Hey, so it is a Sunday morning at WorldCon 76. It's already been a nice long bit of the morning. We went to a really nice bakery for breakfast and I forgot to record any of my food choices, but I had a nice big chocolate croissant and some coffee, which was lovely and very, very much needed. So this morning I went to a live recording of the Ditch Diggers podcast, which I am very much a fan of, so it was really, really fun to go and see that.
The Ditch Diggers, choose your own publishing career. So it's a little thing that Mer and I came up with. We wanted to do it, save it for Ditch Diggers Live. So here's what's going to happen. Margaret and Kellen very graciously have agreed to participate. Well, I don't think they actually knew what they were participating in. We just asked them to come sit up on the stage and whatever. But here's what's going to happen. It's basically going to be a live choose your own adventure, but for a publishing career. Okay? You two will be playing the roles of aspiring authors. Try to get into the headspace if you can. We didn't really give background on our guests.
No, we didn't. Kellen is a Nebula and Hugo nominated author.
Yes.
Did I get that right? Okay, because I didn't want to develop anything out.
I have a book coming out in 2020.
Woo!
Yeah,
Awesome.
Docile from Tor.com.
That's right, congratulations.
Woo!
And Margaret is my compatriot on book burners, but also many other things. Also an Emmy winner.
Whoa!
Whoa!
What are you working on? Most recently, I was a writer for Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance, coming to Netflix in 2019.
Cool as that!
Woo!
Sexy. I'm all about it.
Puppets and trauma for a whole new generation.
I want that t-shirt.
Puppets and trauma.
Puppets and trauma.
It is now. Sorry, Hudson.
Screw the choose your own adventure. I just want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I want to talk about puppets and trauma.
If
So,
I say any more, a Muppet comes and smothers me in my sleep.
no, but for real.
After that, I went to a podcasting panel, like on how to start a podcast, which Renee from Lady Business was on, and that was really fun. Hi, Renee! Off camera, Renee! We're going to get some lunch now. I'm sorry, this is probably super loud. I just haven't remembered to actually vlog all morning. It's not even that late in the day, but it's already felt super busy because I went to 3 things in a row, a cafe clutch, and then 2 panels, and then I went to get some books signed by Nora Jemisin, which was super, super exciting. And then we ran into Martha Wells, who also signed some books for me. Then we sat down to record a little bit for the podcast with Renee and Jenny from the Reading the End bookcast, and it was going fine. And then John Scalzi walked by and said hi to Renee and realized that we were recording a podcast, and so he started doing a bit for the podcast. And I might have melted a little bit in a fangirly puddle. It was good fun. It's a little bit past 2 o'clock, so it's way over time that we had some lunch. And you know, I need to sit down to process the fact that John Scalzi is going to be on my podcast. I've also got a few more books that I've acquired since yesterday or the day before, whenever the last time that I bought books was. I have bought more books. The first thing that I got is American Hippo. This is by Sarah Gailey. I have read River of Teeth. I listened to the audiobook. I loved it. And Taste of Marrow I haven't read yet, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing. And I bought the bind-up because Sarah Gailey was signing at the Borderlands booth. So this is signed for Claire, which is really exciting. This was a slightly questionable purchase given that I already have the audio for River of Teeth, and it was also in the Hugo voter packet, so I didn't need a 3rd copy of it, but here you go. I have it and it's signed and it's beautiful. Next up, I've got Spoon Benders by Daryl Gregory. I have no idea what this book is about. It was recommended to me by the owner at Borderlands Books, who was very kind to give me a little clip of him talking about some of his favorite recent SFF reads for this kind of clip video that I'm putting together of awesome people. at WorldCon, so I'm really excited about putting that together, and it has him talking about spoonbenders, so I bought it. It's a hilarious and tender novel about a lovable family of psychics. It's about Teddy, a charming conman with a gift for sleight of hand. Short on cash, he volunteers for a study secretly backed by the CIA. There he meets Maureen. She is a genuine psychic of immense and mysterious power. So there you go. After a whirlwind courtship, they marry, have 3 gifted children, and become the amazing Telemachus family, performing astounding feats across the country. So I wonder if he's going to still be a con man, even though his wife is apparently a real psychic. We will see. This seems like a kind of fun and slightly different read. And the next 2 things that I picked up were actually from the freebies booth that they have in the exhibit hall. And the first is Erin Complex by Sarah Kuhn. I've heard so much about this. Sarah Kuhn was actually signing at Borderlands this morning with Shauna McGuire, and I missed it. So I'm quite annoyed with myself that I missed that, because I picked up this book specially because I knew I wanted to go to the Shannon signing. I have those 2 books I bought the other day from Shannon to sign, and I had this one too, and it was gonna be perfect, and I completely missed it this morning. To be fair, now that I look at the timings, it was clashing with some other stuff I really wanted to see, but still, I am a little bit annoyed at myself that I managed to completely miss that. But I've now got Heroine Complex, which, by the way, is about a woman who works as a PA for a superhero who's also her best friend, and it's about like their kind of working relationship and friendship, as well as kind of rivalry, and I have heard so much about this book from a bunch of friends who've read it and loved it, so I am super excited to read this one. And then the next thing that I got from that free booth is Night Flyers by George R.R. Martin. This is another one of those books written by Martin, not in the Song of Ice and Fire universe. It is in fact science fiction, very clearly from kind of the images on the book, and it's also apparently now an original sci-fi series. This is also an illustrated edition. This is a tiny hardback, which I love, and it's got really nice end pages as well. The illustrations for this illustrated edition are by David Palumbo. I found the exhibit with all the Hugos. Well, it is just past 5 p.m. on Sunday. I've just come back from the panel where people were invited to propose program items for Dublin WorldCon next year. I proposed a bunch of things, and I also volunteered to be part of the team organizing program for Dublin, which is something I've been really interested in doing for a long time and I haven't done yet, so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to get ready for the party. The Hugo Awards are happening tonight. My friend Ellen is accepting for Galactic Suburbia, who are a finalist in the Best Fan Cast category. And in case they win, Ellen gets to go up and do a speech for them. And then, because Ellen is a great friend, they also invited me as their +1 to the pre-Hugo reception and the Hugo Losers Party. I'm really excited to go. I have brought a very blingy dress to go to the parties, and the party starts at 6. And it is 5:15, so I better hustle, basically.
Eventually. 6 hours later.
So excuse the shaky camera, but I'm trying to walk quite briskly to breakfast because Jenny from the Reading the End bookcast is going to the airport at 10 and it's just before 9 now and I want to have breakfast with her. So that's where I'm headed now. Now, I want to apologize for the lack of Hugo Awards footage last night. I got to the room with not enough time to spare to get properly ready for the party, and I was completely in panic mode. And I brought a really tiny purse to the Hugos, and it didn't have room for my camera in it. So I panicked and I didn't take the camera into the awards, which was really silly. So I have some camera phone footage of like the big party after the awards, but I don't really have as much vlogging material as I would have liked. About the Hugos, I'm very happy about a lot of the wins, and I'm also very happy about a lot of the stuff that came out in the stats after the awards. And here we are at the very fancy breakfast bakery. Right, it's now almost 10 in the morning. I've had some breakfast. I've said goodbye to the amazing Jenny of the Reading and Bookcast, who has gone to the airport now, I think. That's very sad. I'm about to head down to the lobby to say goodbye to some more people who are leaving just now.
One eternity later.
Hello again, lovely people. It's almost 9 p.m. on Monday. I have barely done anything today. I went to a reading this morning by David Levine, which was really fun. He did a Hamilton Arabella of Mars Felk.
Hear ye, a proclamation from the Prince Regent concerning Arabella, the traitor of Mars. Heed not the treason of Arabella, sing, she is not the savior of Mars. Chaos and bloodshed will not solve a thing. Don't let her lead you astray. This virago does not speak for me. She's playing a dangerous game. I pray the prince shows her his mercy. For shame, for shame.
He also signed my book, which was really lovely. I also got this really cool wanted poster for Arabella, which is a promo item that they've got for the third book in the series, so that was really fun. And as you can see, Kelsey and I just went and had a little walk around near the convention center and got some takeaway. So I've got a quesadilla for dinner and another cinnamon roll from the cinnamon bun place for dessert, which is really exciting. Look at this beautifulness.
This is mine. It is gorgeous. I cannot wait to eat this.
Yours is like strawberry and chocolate, right?
Raspberry and chocolate.
Oh, sorry, that's actually much better.
Even better, yeah.
And mine's maple and pecan, so that's really exciting. And that's pretty much all I did today. After I went to that reading, I kind of kept walking around and did like main concourse bit of the convention center, and I kept running into people that I knew who were all about to leave, or you know, just it was their last day at the con, and we had a lot of hugs, and it was kind of a little bit like tiring and emotional. And because I hadn't slept super well the night before and I was a bit hungover, I ended up coming back to the room really early in the afternoon, like 3 p.m. or something, and having a nap. And that was lovely. I had a nap, I watched a bit of YouTube, and then that was pretty much it until we went out to buy some dinner. So that's not a very exciting day for the vlog, but I'm hoping to do a bit of touristing tomorrow, and I'll be able to take you with me when I do that. Good morning, it is Tuesday. I feel a whole lot more human today after having a nice long night of sleep. Kelsey left really early this morning to get her flight home, so I am now left alone in the room. It is about 11 in the morning, something like that, 10 to 11, and I have to check out by 12. I've got to do a lot of last minute packing, mostly fitting like 12 books in this suitcase that weren't there before. So that's what I'm going to do now. I just turned on some YouTube and I'm going to be doing some packing for the next little while. And after that, ooh, I have got plans. But before I actually pack all of the books, I wanted to tell you real quick about the last 4 purchases that I made the other day. So these are all books that I got to be signed. The first is Arabella, the Traitor of Mars by David T. Levine. This is the 3rd book in the Arabella Ashby series, and I absolutely love the first book. I bought the second book last year and I wanted to get it signed at Helsinki WorldCon, and I completely missed the signing slot. So I remedied that this year by getting David Levine to sign this book after his reading, which was really fun. By the way, you will have seen that in the vlog yesterday. I can't really tell you much about this book because I haven't read the second one, but it does say wife, hero, traitor here at the bottom, so you know, you can tell some stuff's gonna happen in the second book, because I don't believe Arabella was married or a hero by the end of book 1. She was on her way to both of those things, but it is good to know that they actually happen, and I'm pretty sure I've been unfocused this entire time, so I'm sorry about that. The next book that I got was The Shadowed Sun by N.K. Jemisin. This is actually the sequel to her novel The Killing Moon, and I wanted to buy The Killing Moon, but they were all out in the dealer's room. The only book by N.K. Jemisin that I found that I didn't already own a paper copy of was The Shadowed Sun, so that's what I brought to her signing line that she was doing at Borderland Books. And now I've got this book signed by N.K. Jemisin, 3-time Hugo Award winner, 3 years in a row, amazing history-making lady, maker of great speeches. At the same time that N.K. Jemisin was signing at the Borderlands signing table, Martha Wells was also signing books on the Borderlands booth in general, just like signing copies so that people who miss her signing slot could still get signed copies. And she very kindly signed and personalized 2 books for me. This is Artificial Condition, the second book in the Murderbot series, and Rogue Protocol, the third book in the Murderbot series. It's going to be a 4th one, Exit Strategy, but it's not out yet. Now I'm just a tiny bit miffed that these 2 books have both been released in hardback, and the first book, All Systems Red, was only released as a paperback, so right now I own all 3 of them, but they don't match. Tor.com Publishing have said that they're going to re-release All System Red in hardback, and I'm definitely going to buy it because I want a matching collection. I'm not even going to kid myself that I'm going to try and like be thrifty about it. I'm definitely going to buy it again. I kind of wish that that wasn't something that was necessary and that they had made them match in the first place. They've started doing little bind-ups now, like American Hippo by Sarah Gailey, which is both River of Teeth and Taste of Marrow, and I think that's a really great way of purchasing novellas in physical copies. I really hope they do more of these bind-ups. They did a panel where they talked about future things coming out from Tor and Tor.com Publishing, and I did ask them to do more of these bind-ups, and they said they were planning to, so hopefully we don't have situations like, you know, you bought a paperback and now if you want all your books to match, you've just got to buy it again in a hardback, because that's not great. But also Murderbot won a Hugo now, yay! So I just realized that I forgot to show you my WorldCon badge and its attached ribbons earlier in the convention. This is a WorldCon tradition I really like, so I wanted to share it with you. I wish I had remembered to show you each ribbon as I got it, because I feel like that would have been a lot cuter. First up, the badge itself has this really beautiful design by John Picasso, the artist guest of honor, and then I've got all of the ribbons on there. So my first ribbon is the program participant one, which was included in a little packet that I got just when I arrived at the con because I was on a panel. And then I've got this black one that says, "I find your lack of yarn disturbing." My friend Nina Niskanen gave me this. Just saw this ribbon on the first day and complimented her on it, and then she gave me one. Then I went to the bid tables and I got the Dublin 2019 and Irish WorldCon ribbon and the New Zealand in 2020 ribbon. Then I've got the WSFS Business Meeting Fandom ribbon. WSFS stands for World Science Fiction Society. They are the body that runs the World Science Fiction Convention, aka WorldCon, and the business meeting is where decisions happen, and I went to the business meeting for the first time, so I got this ribbon. I'm also going to be volunteering on one of the committees that research possible amendments to do with the business meeting and propose them, so I suppose this ribbon is quite accurate. I am indeed now in the fandom. And then the next one, I'm not sure how well you can see because it's not very contrasted, but it's the pseudopod ribbon. We promise you it is true, pseudopod.org. And this is, of course, one of the Escape Artists podcasts. Pseudopod is a horror one that is hosted by Alistair Stewart. And I got this one at the Escape Pod live panel. And then the next one underneath that is I Should Be Writing, which is the podcast by Mer Lafferty. Of course, Mer was on the Escape Pod live panel. I saw that she had those ribbons and asked her for one of them. And then I've got this one down there that says I craft and I know things, and I just love that. I love that it's a craft thing and also a Game of Thrones thing, and my friend Nina also gave it to me. I was just chatting to her at some point and she was handing these ribbons to people that told her cool stories. So I told her the story of the alewives, which I heard very recently on Buffering the Vampire Slayer. So I'm not going to tell it here because they tell it a lot better on Buffering, but if you want to hear about how witches were originally women brewing beer, I would suggest listening to the Beer Bad live episode of Buffering the Vampire Slayer. And that's it, those were my ribbons for this year. Not as many as I've had in previous years, but I think a pretty good haul nonetheless. So it's just gone 12. I've checked out of my room and dropped my big suitcase and my backpack at the hotel to wait until I can collect them later before getting to the airport. I need to get a cab to the airport about 6 p.m. I'm not gonna be able to do a lot in that time, but I have a few things I want to try and do. There are some restaurants I haven't been to yet. There's a couple of museums I want to try and see. I know it's not much, but at least that way I'll be able to say that I've seen the outside of the convention center, at least a little tiny bit. Well, I just went to the Museum of Art and it was lovely. And now I sat down in a chair in the park. I feel like I'm possibly never getting up again because it's very comfortable, it's very warm and sunny. And I have some water. And I also have some Reese's peanut butter chocolate and a book. So I think I'm gonna stay here for a little bit before I head over to the Tech Museum, which is just like across the street from me right now. I mean, I'm sure you can see, it's just a gorgeous, beautiful day, and I'm just not really wanting to move for a little bit. So it's now about 3:30. I took a little break in the park and now I'm at the Tech Museum. So that was about my plan for the day, the Art Museum, the Tech Museum, walking around and having some nice foods. The Tech Museum is quite large, so I'm not done seeing it through, but I took a little break here on the lovely balcony that they've got overlooking, well, the little park that I had a break in. I mean, we're very, very close to the Marriott and the Convention Center. The first exhibit that I saw in the museum is Body Worlds, which is one of those exhibits of human bodies that have been preserved with plastics, like liquid plastic that they then harden and then they can study the bodies. So I've not taken a lot of footage in there because I don't know how much that's something that people want to see, especially like randomly in a vlog. Hey, check me out. I'm so buff, look at this. Oh, I'm not making that pose with my legs, that's just weird. I love this museum, guys. And this is the VR exhibit where they've got a whole bunch of VR headsets and you can fly like a bird and do a bunch of other cool VR things. Okay, I'm not gonna do this because I've already paid $25 to get into this museum and this is an extra $8, but it is really tempting. Alright, I've got to do this one quick before I run completely out of battery. I don't know if you could hear that massive tear just over there. That was the people at the hotel taking down the WorldCon 76 sign from the little market kitchen store, so that makes me sad. But yes, I'm back in the hotel lobby. It's just gone 5. The tech museum has closed. I've seen it. It was a lot of fun. I also went to the gift shop and got myself this adorable Cattern t-shirt. I don't know how well you can see, but it does glow in the dark, and I do love a cat pun, so that was a pretty good purchase. And then I've also got these socks that have constellations on them, and these are just a little present for John. I also bought a big poster of like this cute vintage looking celestial map of the stars, so that's in a poster tube right now. Oh, I should also show you, I bought this adorable notebook from the art museum store, and it just says on the cover, "There are no ordinary cats," and that is a quote by Colette, who is a French writer very well known for her love of cats. It's called Cats on it, and I don't know if this is going to be for me or for somebody else at the moment, but you know, we'll see. We'll see in time. I've just got a little bit more time to wait until I have to call a cab and get myself to the airport. So I'm not sure how much more battery there is in this camera, because it's not quite blinking red at me yet, but there is an orange battery sign with a strike through it. So in case I don't manage to get any other footage, this has been the WorldCon / San Jose vlog part 2, and hopefully I'll be playing us out with some clips from the plane. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more from me, you can check out a previous video on screen right now. And if you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button that's on my face for a new video from me every week. I've been Claire, thanks so much for watching, and see you soon.